Hello and welcome to Women Who Rise. We are your hosts, Nicole Williams and Taylor Lamascolo, and today is episode 8.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 8. Nicole and I are going to be focusing the topic of this episode around speaking. And we have both sort of stepped into more of a leadership role within our businesses and our careers. And, we've both done the deep healing journey, and now we are both mentors and guides for other women. And we both are being called to step into a deeper level of leadership through public speaking and using our voice. And we really created the Women Who Rise podcast as like a foundation to be able to build these skills and use our voice. And also with growing our followings on social media, we use our voice in that way as well. So now we are gearing up to be doing live, in-person and online speaking events. And it's a really exciting time because it's new for us. And we just sort of wanted to shine a light on what it's like for us, learning, studying, watching other people's events, and then also just stepping up to the plate and doing the scary things. So I will have Nicole share her current experiences with public speaking and speaking events and all of the above. So go ahead.
Amazing, thank you. Yes, speaking is one of those things that for most people is they either love it or they feel really uncomfortable at the beginning. And for me, public speaking has never really been an issue, I guess. Like I will always be the first person to put my hand up in a room to talk, to, give an answer, to be like, oh, if no one else will do it, I'll do it type thing. So I guess I kind of overcome my fear just by pushing myself to do it. Um, I remember like back to uni where we were always constantly having to do like group assessments and like standing up in front of the class. And then um, a big moment for me in speaking was being invited to speak at my graduation ceremony on behalf of all of the students there. And I remember getting on the stage, and I have quite a visceral response. So if I'm feeling nervous, my whole body is like really responsive. And I was just like, just hold the paper flat, just hold the paper flat. And then, like, it's always so strange how when you're in the situation, you're like, okay, I've got this. But then the time just seems to go, and you're like, was I there? Was I talking? But every time I've done it, the response has been really uplifting. I was like, you did so well, that kind of stuff, even though maybe on the inside I was feeling more nervous. Um, but this has definitely, I guess, ignited my passion for speaking more so. It's like if I can hold that little bit of fear, but harness it in a way that's beneficial for other women and other people and be real about it, maybe it'll give someone else the confidence to do the same thing or to just speak up in a way that benefits them in their lives. It could be something as simple as like, might not be able to stand up in front of a whole room of people and tell my story, but I can stand up to my partner, my friend, my family, and speak my truth. Do you know, it doesn't have to be such a massive thing for people all the time. But most recently, I went to this beautiful speaking event in on the Gold Coast called Fuck Up Nights. And this speaking event is one that I would love to speak at. But for me, I like to be a little bit more prepared. I like to scope out, who are the people in the room? What does the room look like? How long are they speaking for? What topics are they speaking about? So I do a bit of homework before I actually just dive on in. My loved form of speaking is more long form, hence why we love our long form podcasts. So this speaking event was only, the people had 10-minute segments, which for me, I'm like, 10 minutes. Oh goodness, how would I push it all down into that time? But what it does is allows you or makes you be a bit more concise with what you're saying. So for me, the event was amazing. It was great for networking. There were so many different like product founders, business owners, entrepreneurs from all different realms, from like digital marketing to product development to hair extensions. Like it literally, it was such a broad range. Um, but what it helped me figure out was like there was some pretty amazing people in the room. Like there was people in there making anywhere from like, $1 million a year to 6 million to $20 million a year, which I was like, oh, it's really cool that I'm in this room with like the frequency of these people, right? But what it also did, the whole idea of the night is to actually share the fuck ups in the business because as business owners, you're not doing everything right all the time, right? So it was actually a lot more informative and a lot more um, educational from a business perspective to be like, oh, okay, they're still making this much money, but this is where they could have improved and this is how they learn from it. So that was a really cool take on it. What I also saw on the flip side was how vulnerable people needed to be to show up and one, speak their truth. So get up there and not brag about how good their business is. Get up there and brag about how shit they went and then how they got themselves out of it. Like that is really difficult for some people. Um, Difficult for a lot of people, I think. But yeah, it was really cool to kind of I guess de-pedestal people. So I think a lot of the time we put people up on a pedestal. We think that they might be better than us because they do a podcast, because they have a great following, because they make 6 to $20 million a year, that, any of all of the above, whatever category it could be in, because they have a great relationship, whatever, right? But what that room did was showed everyone that we're all the same.
Mhm.
We're all human beings having a human experience, trying to do the best that we can do. And yeah, for me, it was like it actually took the pressure off becoming a speaker in that room because I went, do you know what? They're all just like me. I don't have to show up here and be perfect. I don't have to show up here and be like, oh, this is how much I made and this is how good I am and these are the transformational results that my clients get. It's like there was a realness to it and it was actually so much more powerful to be like, hey, like we all make mistakes, but we're all still fucking awesome. Like, oh, it was just divine. Um, so that was my most recent experience of a speaking event. Um, but for me, it'll be more so going to as many different networking and speaking events as I can in order to upskill so that I can speak in front of stadiums of people in order to raise the frequency of humanity. So big, beautiful, powerful mission, but it's got to start in these little small rooms and allowing ourselves to make the mistakes. Everything's actually perfect, whether it's, a lesson or a blessing, right? So yeah, it's been really awesome and a really nice reflection.
Yeah.
But Taylor, I also understand you have been to a few speaking events, so I'd love to hear how your experience was as well.
Absolutely. So I started going to a few networking events in Toronto, And I really was able to get into this beautiful network of women that are coming together and supporting each other. And this beautiful founder created, just this. It came together so quickly. I think she launched it like 5 months ago, and she's already had like over 500 people through her events, right? So she's just, it's really cool to see she found like a gap in the market really, and it's really cool to see how much networking amongst strictly women was just so needed, right?
Mhm.
So she really was able to provide, the container for all of us to come together. And what she's doing as well is like helping other people step up into their leadership. So she's like encouraging, she's literally putting events together and being like, I want you come speak. Right.
Ama-
So, yeah. So, because she's like at the beginning phases, she's creating events as well for people to like rise up into their leadership. And that's actually what happened with me. So I just went to a in-person business mastermind. There was about 12 of us, and it was just women sharing their struggles. Like it was also a very vulnerable space because it was so much smaller. We really
Mhm.
got to share like who we are, what we do, and then like a struggle. And then, it really opens the place up for vulnerability, which is so important in business to know that you're not alone because it is a journey. And yeah, and I really think it's really interesting how you got to experience like the polarity of like the other side of speaking before you kind of got into like the bigger journey of it. It's so interesting, right? Where it's not always because events are often like, I'm amazing buy my
Mm.
buy my stuff, right? Like I've been to those types of like they're basically like massive sales pitches and they're beautiful, right? Because the person running them is still doing good for the world, right? However,
Yeah.
it's different to see the other side of it, whereas where people are actually showcasing the dark side, just to also shine a light on the fact that you're not alone. So
Mhm.
anyway, it was through that event was beautiful. And I just want to mention for anybody who's like scared to go to a networking event, or anything like that, like this is another way of using your voice on a very small scale. Like go to the event, and if you're just at a table and if all you can do is say who you are and what you do, you're already cracking the surface, right? That's
Mhm.
already you advertising for yourself, promoting yourself, like backing yourself, right? Getting yourself in the room. And if that's all you can do, that's an amazing start. And that's more than
Yeah.
some people are willing to do. So just getting yourself in the frequency of it and acclimatizing, like quite literally getting your nervous system on board, is really, really helpful. So if you're on the fence, go and do it. Go find a good community that you vibe with, a good place that you'll be comfortable with. I've been to massive networking events of 30,000 people. And I've also been to, 5-day events with like tons of people. And now I've also been to tiny ones where we're at a
Mhm.
mastermind table, right? I find that
Mhm.
the more intimate the group is, the deeper you can go, the better the connection you can make. So the
Yeah.
the big the big events I'm finding, well, I've just in my experience, right? It's very like pass and go, right? You don't have too much time to connect with people. Um, and whereas in the smaller ones, you really get to, connect on a deeper level. With all of that being
Yeah.
said, because I showed up to that event, the person holding the event, she just kind of was like, I really like your energy. And she actually was like, come speak at one of my events. And she kind of selected me and 4 other girls that she had met, and she's putting together an event. It hasn't been marketed yet. She's like finalizing the place and the details and everything. It's supposed to be at the beginning of April. So yeah, that's actually where, yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
you. Um, yeah, so basically, that's going to be my first live in-person event that I am going to be speaking at. And I'll just give you guys a little bit of a background of my journey with public speaking. So I used to, back in the day in like grade school, I would volunteer to go first and say my speeches in class. Like I didn't care. I was like, I will go. I'm ready, you know? And then by the time I got to college, which I went a little bit, well, I went to university and then to college, and then I took a break and went back to university again. But throughout all the times that I had to go back to school, anytime we had a solo presentation, I would skip it. Like I would skip it. Sometimes I would lose like 20% of my mark. If that was like the final uh, big presentation or thing for your class, like I would skip it. The only time I would actually go up and say, speak in front of the class is if I had a group presentation. I literally couldn't let them down. Do you know what I mean? You can't let them down. So, and I would like tremble. I would tremble. I would like, I would have the paper and I would be like shaking, right? And I even had a speaking course in university, and we basically had to say little tiny speeches up in front of the class. And every time I would go up, I would have it all prepared and ready to go, and I would get in front of the class, and my throat would like close, and I would literally choke. Okay,
Mm,
I would choke to get the words out. So. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have like I had a lot of drug addiction issues in high school. I used to drink a lot to feel comfortable to be around people. So I had a lot of, social anxiety and a lot of um, I had some traumatic relationships in this time, whereas between from the time that I actually used to volunteer to take up space and go first, to the
mm,
time where I had to actually start and try and excel myself in my career, during that
mm,
time, I had experienced a lot of things that actually took away that skill that I had, right?
mm,
And I think I was just diminished and shrunk over time through I'm specifically like what's coming to me is like toxic relationship, like men. So, for any women that have been in like controlling relationships or, like a little bit narcissistic, I know that word's thrown around, but just like people that really, really steal your life force and diminish you down to like nothing. Um, I've experienced that multiple times. So all that stuff contributes to you shrinking and shutting down your voice, right? So I'm kind of on a like I'm not scared to do the thing even though the thing to me is scary. Does that make sense? Like if I'm
yeah,
called forward, I will do the thing, right? I don't care
mm,
if I look like a fool. I don't care if I choke and eat my words. Like I don't care because I know the more that I do the thing, the better, the easier it will get, right? So I'm kind of on this like journey of just reclaiming that version of me that could just show up and stand up and speak effortlessly. And, I think it's beautiful that I get to do it in front of women because women are so much more nurturing and open. And do you know what I mean? So I'm really grateful that I get to do it in rooms full of women. Before I actually probably we go larger scale and there will be, men and all of that in the room. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this community and for the founder of this network for just extending the opportunity to me. And then that means I get to step up into, a higher level of my leadership. Now,
mm,
I recently went to a public speaking workshop. It was just like a group of like 20 women, and there was a speaker, and she's like a leadership speaker, trainer, facilitator, and all of that stuff. She worked in corporate, teaching people how to speak in public for many years. And now
mm,
she's ventured out into doing it just for women, right? So helping women in their public speaking skills. So I went to that. We had to stand up in front of a group and just introduce ourselves and, who we are, what
mm,
we do, and just like ask a quick question. And then we went and broke off into groups, and then we had to like say a story on the fly with like four people watching you and then giving like tangible feedback. So when
mm,
I went up and introduced myself, that was fine. But I'll be honest with you, like my eyes are like, when you like black out in front of people, like not like blackout, but I can't focus on like one specific person. I kind of just move my eyes around, just because that's the only way I can like get into it, you know?
yeah,
So,
Don't really lock in eye contact with anyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like there's an element of presence when you are speaking and
Oof.
making eye contact, like all of that stuff is very important. So I know that I need to work on that, right? So what I did actually was I paid to go to her actual full day public speaking workshop. So that was just like a mini portion in like a group. So now I'm going to like a full day intimate group of like 6 to 8 women with the coach. And we're going to be at a table and we're all going to stand up like 3 different times. We're going to get coached in real time, live feedback in real time. So this was like that was like a mini piece of the workshop, and then this is the actual workshop. So I'm going to be doing that on April 19th. Now that's after the live event.
Mm.
So I have no idea what's going to happen at the live event, but I do know I still need that extra support because I do have a feeling that I'm going to be running my own events by the end of this year. Yay. So
Please have a Zoom portion so I can come.
well, listen, if I'm in Australia by the end of the
Well,
year, that means we're going to be running an event
yeah,
by the end of this year.
I love
That
this.
also came into my mind as well. So I'm
I'm
gonna
always down.
yes, I know you are, and it's gonna be fucking amazing. So
Yeah.
just for
So stay
anybody
tuned,
listening,
everyone.
yeah.
Please channel our new offers in real time.
Um, so those are kind of, and then I also am doing I actually ended up connecting with one of the girls that I met at the business mastermind, and we're doing a live webinar in front of her company. And it's basically her whole network of, they have like cross Canada company and all of their clients and aspiring people in the financial industry, the financial like wellness financial services and stuff like that. So I'm doing I'm collaborating with her and I'm just doing a little segment. We're doing a webinar together and I'm going to be teaching about money energetics and she's going to be teaching about like the practical side, so the financial services and stuff like that she brings to like individuals and families who are looking to like diversify and grow their assets and their businesses or invest for the first time, like that kind of stuff, right? She kind of has done all the groundwork and she's consolidated all the things that are available to everybody. And she's like the advisor that you go to, right? And then she helps and sets you up. So I'm going to be teaching more of the energy and the mindset, and she's going to be teaching the tangible and the practical, right? So it's like the feminine and the masculine, which is so cool,
Yes,
right?
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that so
Yeah.
much.
Super, super cool.
Mm. So when is that event?
So that one is April 11th. It's live on Zoom at 3 o'clock p.m. EST. And you can actually register at the link in my bio on my Instagram. So that'll be the link in the show notes. Yeah. So that's going to be really exciting. So a couple,
And so anyone can join for that?
anyone. Yeah.
Oh,
And
amazing.
fully open. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so these are all the beautiful speaking opportunities that have sort of come along my path. And quite honestly, I wasn't looking for them. This is even the podcast with Nicole. It was like she reached out. The founder of the network was just like, "Hey, come on by." And then actually, I jumped on a call with with the girl I'm doing the webinar with, and she's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to." Do a this is cool actually. She's like, yeah, I want to do a webinar. She's never done one before within her company.
Okay.
So I looked at her and I was like, so she's like, maybe you can come on the webinar. And I was like, so when are we doing the webinar? Like I created the opportunity, right? So I noticed that she had mentioned it and now I'm actually helping her step up into her leadership and speaking and helping her um get her message and her it's a new business as well. So she's getting, her products and services out there in front of, a live audience as well. So super, super, super cool.
So exciting. And I think sometimes starting online works out really a lot easier. You can be in your own environment. You can, there's ways to enter into speaking spaces and get more confident in what you're doing just by creating the right environment. So rather than just jumping into a room full of 20,000 people and like feeling very overwhelmed, doing exactly what we've done, starting a podcast, jumping on webinars with people, doing masterclasses online. Like, there's so many, start with these small events where there might be 10 to 12 people, like you were saying, where they're the speaking event I just went to on Wednesday, there was a VIP portion. So that what that meant was I think there was about 10 to 12 of us that paid a little bit extra for our ticket, rocked up an hour and a half earlier, actually got to sit at a round table, have a discussion, and create more intimacy. Like we were talking about all different kinds of concepts, like, how to as business owners, how do we go with AI? And, like there was this realness to the conversation and the connection because it started in that smaller group. And then when we branched out to the bigger room, it was still the people who had stayed in the VIP, we all still kind of cluttered together because it was like, oh, you've got a really interesting story. Like, let's keep talking. So, or like, let me know more about like your work or your business or whatever. So, I think there is, like you said, those gentler ways, but also being opportunistic. So, like you said, like if someone invites you to something, say yes. If there's an opportunity and it makes you feel a little bit like, "Oh, should I do this?" Obviously, if it's like, there's a difference between like uncomfortable and danger, and you need to figure out what that feels like in your body. Sometimes the wires can be crossed, but if it's like uncomfortable, but you're excited about it, it is generally a good like lean in moment to be like, this is exactly where I want to be. It's going to be challenging me to a degree, but you also know that on the other side of that uncomfortable feeling is going to be so much growth. There's going to be so much more opportunity. And that's where you really just propel and excel in your energy and your frequency, really. Like it's really awesome. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited for
So,
you.
so excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like it's a new level. It's a new level for sure. But
Mm,
I mean, I'll be honest with you, like from a financial standpoint, if you want to collapse time, like I'm gonna go right back to the money because that's just how I roll. But if you want to collapse time, run an event. Go run a live event. Go
mm,
go speak in front of people and tell people about you, who you are and how you help people and how you can help them. Because
mm,
being in that live energy is so powerful and
mm,
you are doing good in the world. So yes, you can take up that space. And
mm,
it's just a powerful way to get your message out there and to really show up as it's a very core leadership piece and authority
mm,
piece, right?
yeah,
The minute you do that, you automatically have something that other people want, and you
mm,
immediately become that much more desirable. So,
yeah. But
um,
I also think too, like it doesn't have to always happen on such a big scale. Do you know what
right.
I mean? You can enter a room, you can hold an event, you can run a masterclass, you can do a portal, you can whatever. Even if it's 10 people, if you impact two people in that space and they then, go on to be a better version of themselves, you've done what you came here to do. Well, that's how I feel anyway. Like, yes, I would love to impact a room full of 30,000, a million, a billion people, whatever. Like, but it's just as powerful. It can be in the conversation that you have with someone one on one. It can be in those smaller events. It can be like, it doesn't always have to be a huge, big thing. And not only that, it's like sometimes it's really nice and a lot of the big speakers, mentors, whatever, they will have their big group containers where they might have, you know, 20, 40, 50, 100 people in those, and then they'll have their VIPs or their smaller containers where you get more intimate. Like
Mhm.
really like having both options is so beneficial, but it can be both. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Mhm. I agree. And truly, what you said about like starting small and doing it just over Zoom and running something like I noticed when I went to the public speaking workshop that I just went to and I had to stand up, and I'm just going to be fully transparent. The first time I introduced myself, it was fine. It was quick. That was all I could get out. But when I actually had to stand in front of those like four women, and all we had to do was talk about, we had to tell a quick, like, it was like 60 to 90 seconds and talk about your favorite trip that you, or your favorite place to travel to. And I was like, it wasn't very much something that was like rolling off the tongue for me. And I actually just like fully bombed it in front of all of these people. But like that's okay. I'm okay with that. I was like, wow, I'm really like not prepared, and I don't really have like I have a destination that I enjoyed that I traveled to, but I haven't been one that I like go back to and that I was like so passionate about, right? So it wasn't as easy for me to just roll off the top in front of four eyeballs like staring at me. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of was like, I'm so sorry. Like some people were great. One girl was like, I don't even travel, so she had to pull something off the top out of her hat, basically. But and I noticed after that, I was like, wow, when I'm on Zoom or I'm like in my zone of genius, like it just flows out. I was like, it just,
I was gonna say, because when you're on here, you speak so well. So even like listening to you, I'm like, how is this not you in person all the time? Because obviously, for anyone listening, Taylor and I have never met in person. We meet almost every week. We talk pretty much every second day at that. Like, but for me, it seems like a really a different side for like even just hearing you being like, no, I've been nervous standing in front of people because on here you carry yourself so well, you speak so well, like you articulate things in a way that people can really understand, and it's like quite amazing. So,
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hear that here and there, like you're so well spoken. And yes, I am. And though when you put me in front of a bunch of people staring at me, my nervous
yeah.
system just fucking flips the F out. So
Yeah.
it does, it truly does. Even I just did a call, and I remember before my first master class, like I had like five mental breakdowns. Like I was
Mm,
so nervous, but I also, it was not guaranteed that anyone was going to show up on it. So I was like carrying a lot of shame as well. So I was like,
yeah.
oh my God, like what if nobody shows up on this master class and I'm just a huge failure? Like I was going through it, right? There was like four girls on it, which is amazing. But
Yeah.
for a first master class, that's beautiful. But
Yeah.
I was journeying like how scary, it was so scary for me. And then I just had a call like for my one-on-one, or sorry, my 4 week group mentorship program, and like I was nervous before. Like I feel like it maybe, I was just nervous before the call, just holding space. Like about 5 to 10 minutes in, I was totally fine. Like I
Yeah.
switched on and I was like, oh, this is my jam. You know what I mean? But for some reason that like leading up to it and like beginning is still a little nerve-wracking for me. So just for anyone listening, like
Yeah.
how I come off so well spoken. And actually, there was a girl sitting beside me, and she's like, this is you. Like this, we were writing down like a little thing on a sheet, like what does a powerful presence mean to you? And the girl beside me, who I know now, she's doing the webinar with me. She came to the event as well, and she's like, you. This is you. I want to write down you. And I'm like, you'd be surprised how fucking how nerve-wracking it is for me to stand up in front of people. So,
Yeah. But I think like, and people confuse nerves, and I have this conversation with my clients all the time. Like people confuse nerves and discomfort with I can't. Do you
mm,
know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, I feel this level of discomfort, therefore I cannot do this thing. It's like actually no. We you there's that fine line between wanting to lean in order to get growth and then like discerning. right? Between what is danger and what is good, right? But I feel like a lot of the time, I've lost my train of thought. Feel free to take over.
Yep, yep. So we were actually we were just talking about like how I get nervous, and you I think basically where you're going is like people confuse nerves with I can't. So instead
Yeah.
of shutting down and not doing the thing, I actually still do the thing.
Hmm.
Sort of where
Yeah.
you're going, like don't
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
if you feel the nerves, don't think that that means I can't do it, right? It's like hold yourself through the
Mm.
nerves and do it anyway. And it
Yeah.
does get easier, right? Like I obviously do like my nervous system, breathing that I do, to regulate myself before and just, move my energy. And maybe you will fumble on your words a little bit, but you
Yeah.
just pick it up and keep going.
Yeah. And I feel like I remember where I was going now. So a lot of the time, what people, for anyone needing a little bit more insight as to why that happens. So for women or for anyone with energy, really, anyone with the feminine, the masculine, right? There is a connection between our safety, so into our womb space and our sacral chakra, into our throat chakra. So it is essentially like it goes like a big infinity loop all the way from into our womb chakra, all the way up into our solar plexus, heart space, into our throat and back down. So if you're feeling unsafe or that discomfort feeling and the flow, or you have a blockage in any one of those areas, or, it could be like shame or feeling, less than or not worthy, not good enough, having a negative experience before, these can all be tiny little blockages that we need to work with throughout the energetic fields in order to regain that flow. Where I was leaning to with this was, Taylor, I wonder, now that we did our sessions as well, if you haven't already listened to episode 6 and 7, um, 5 and 6, yeah, then please go back and listen because we did the sessions on one another. But a part of that is like creating that safety within the nervous system, like you were saying, whether it's breath, whether it's energy work, whether it's just using Mother Nature to ground into your body, whether it's whatever practice is working well for you. Um, create that safety so that when it is time to speak up, when it is time to be your fullest expression, you know that feeling like you are safer than yourself and it's safe to be that fullest expression.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. We actually went through that like that infinity like in my session, right?
yeah,
And needing that safety within
yeah.
my right. So
But that, yeah, I wonder if now, because was that before or after that event?
before, however, like it probably would have been much worse. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I could stand up and I started, but then like I kind of psyched myself out. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So, and it's like even when we're sitting, like when we were sitting at the mastermind, the first event I went to, like I spoke and everyone resonated with my words, like
Mm,
immediately. Right? So
yeah,
it's not that, and even when we were sitting in the little groups of like the breakout groups that we had to with the women, like nobody was speaking. Like I was commanding the entire group of women. I was like, who wants to go first? Who's giving their feedback? Like I was literally the facilitator of the little group and no one was talking, but they all got up and were able to speak perfectly. Not so much
yeah,
perfectly, but they were all able to get up and speak in
yeah,
front of the thing and get something out, but they were not very talkative while we were sitting together in the group. I was commanding the group, but it was time for me to get up and speak, I was like, so it's interesting. I'm excited to get on the other side of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm excited to hear and witness your journey as well. And I'm sure I'll have many events where I do the same thing. I'm often the person that will, I'm going to change my wording there. I used to be the person. that would leave a conversation, leave a table, leave a networking event and be like, why did I say it like that? Like, I actually have so much more I could have said in that moment. But I think too, it's like you're reading the room, you're reading people's energy. Not only are we saying to ourselves, like, does it feel safe here for us to be our fullest expression? But are these people in the room worthy to receive that fullest expression? So you are, whether consciously or unconsciously, reading a room, reading people's energy. You might even just be picking up on their nerves. So therefore, it's like maybe it doesn't feel as comfortable the first time to be your fullest self. But then if you went in the same room at another time with those same 10 people, you might be like, oh, this is
Yeah.
like actually so great. And I want to link this back to like a simple example of between when this can happen in relationship as well, but I'll give an example. So it's like the first time I had met my now long-term partner, the first meeting was so awkward. Like, just like, I was just like, who am I? Like, I don't normally like talk like this. This is really strange. I left the dating, and he knows all of this. We're very open with our conversation. We both left going like, oh, do we even want to like meet each other again? Like, we were still talking, but we were like, oh, it was like late on a Sunday. If anyone knows me, I don't leave the house after like 8 o'clock at night. Um, so we'd like met like later and it was just like weird. And but then the second time we met each other, it was like in the morning, which is like my prime time. And like the connection was so much stronger. We're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, so it's also like, where are you energetically? What is your prime time in your day? Like, there are so many factors that can, have you slept enough the night before? Did you eat today? Like, are you hydrated? Like there is so many simple things that can affect how confident you feel or how well you feel like you can speak. Like, have you just received like bad news from family or like have you just had like a really busy rush day and you haven't quite landed back in your body yet? Like there are so many factors that can contribute to how you express yourself or how you show up that I just encourage people to show up again and again because each time you're building that level of confidence, that level of safety within yourself to be like, I can do this in what and it doesn't matter what expression I am on the day. I actually the way I've showed up is perfect, even if it's not perfect. Like even if you know, didn't say the thing you were meant to say, or if you kind of stood up and just completely were like, I did it a minute ago. I was like, I lost my complete train of thought. It's actually okay to not be perfect all the time, is my long story short.
Yeah, it's so true. I think a lot of people get up somewhere and say something, or they say something in a group, and then they're like, "Fuck, why didn't I say this?" Or you kind of
Yeah.
go through the inner workings after the fact. But honestly, it's all perfect. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like after on my way home, I had the perfect story to tell everyone about the trip. Okay, like it's so true. I was like, oh, I could have just said that so easily, but I wasn't prepared. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like
Yeah.
everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Like maybe I just need a little bit more preparation in order to be able to get up and do the thing, right?
And
So
I'm definitely I'm definitely a person who prefers to receive the questions first so that I've got like I'm a processing person. I like to be prepared. I like to be organized. Like there are people who can get up in the room and just wing it.
yeah,
That is not me.
yeah.
Even though quite often is an expression that you and I are both trying to lean into.
Just in case anybody's wondering, we had no plan before the episode and we're winging it. So it
And
can.
it's working out perfect.
Yeah, beautifully. But yeah, so yeah, it's all perfect. It's all a perfect journey, but I think the most important thing is that like you got to just keep doing it, obviously, right? Like you got to keep doing it, keep calling yourself forward, and eventually it will just be a natural thing that you do, right? Like I know that in my highest expression, like in my zone of genius, I'm going to command the room. Like I already know that. I know I'm going to be excellent
Mhm.
in the room when the time is right, right? When the time comes. So all I have to do is like, I have that level of self-belief. So I invite anyone listening, like, any level of self-belief I have, you should have within yourself as well. It does not matter where you come from, what your background is. There is no reason that you cannot absolutely command a room.
And
Um,
not only that, but it's like that same saying of like, and where the saying comes from, like, fake it until you make it, right? So be so delusional in your ability that you convince yourself
yeah,
you have got it.
yeah.
Like that belief is what will manifest
Mhm.
into your reality. And that is what we try and teach people all the time. It's like it's this deep subconscious programming. Like you can be like, oh no, I'm a great speaker, and then actually not truly believe it on the inside. Like literally be so delusional that you are like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna nail this, and it is gonna be amazing. Like pep talk yourself every single day if you need to make sure that you have that belief because it works.
Yeah, I actually, just for anyone, because we do teach like subconscious reprogramming to get your unconscious mind on board with like the end result that you're actually desiring and seeking. So from now until I have that, until I speak at that event, I am an amazing speaker. I'm an amazing speaker. I am an amazing speaker. Like I'm programming my unconscious mind to get on board with the fact that I'm an amazing speaker and I am a captivating speaker. Like I bring energy into the room. Like you know what I'm saying? Like now my job for the next month is to program my subconscious mind and get that belief installed into my being so that when
Mhm,
the time comes, it's a lot easier. I've cleaned up the energetics a little bit for me to actually do the thing, right?
mhm. Yeah.
And I was going to say something else about that. Deluded, delusional self-belief. I'm an amazing speaker. I don't, oh, another thing I could do actually as well is go into meditation and actually like visualize and see the room, right? So another way to get your unconscious mind on board is to like almost meditate and manifest, how the outcome, right? So visualize yourself being so comfortable and at ease and speaking and all of that stuff, right? So for the
Yeah.
visual people too, that's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
To get your body, like your actual nervous system, on board with doing the thing.
Well,
So,
this is exactly why when I was saying to you, when I would like to speak at this event in Queensland, and that is why I went and was just being a participant to start with. It was like, cool, if I'm going to speak at this event, I like to scope the room. I like to know who's going to be there. I like to know what color the carpet is, where are the windows, where's the water, where's the door. The whole part of this homework for me is doing exactly that. I can now envision myself sitting or standing at the front of the room
yeah,
speaking because I have that image
yeah,
already in my mind's eye. And not all people are visual, which is probably a great lead into this. Even if you are not, when you close your eyes, you don't see a picture, right? That's like a visual mindset. Even if you don't have that perception, you can still think it. You can write it down if it's not, a visual thing for you. You can still feel it in your body. How would it feel to stand up in front of the room and command the room? How would it feel to be in front of 20 people and just be nailing it, right? Do it in front of the mirror. Like there's so many different practices that you can implement in the same way. They're just a different, for everyone's different unique gifts or everyone's different unique being.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is kind of where I am at in the speaking department. And
I'm
also,
so
yeah. And also, Nicole, like what are you thinking for your, are you thinking you want to speak at that event for sure?
yeah. So I there's two events in that I have in mind. One is that event, the fuck up nights. Again, I prefer a little bit more of a long form. I like to, in my mind, I was like, I want to warm the crowd. I want to ask questions. I want to, do you know what I mean? Get people engaged. So that's my kind of, it also helps me to regulate my nervous system in doing that. I prefer taking my time even in life, if I rush, I feel like my nervous system then is not on board. So, something for me, it will be a good challenge to do to overcome that, to be like, I can do both if I need. However, the other flip side of that is like also leaning into what I know I'm good at. So, like, yes, still do the uncomfortable things, speaking in short form, like that 10-minute cycle. So, that'll be fine. But then also going, but I'm really good at this part too. So, I'm also going to do things like that. So, there's another event in Gold Coast, so 3 hours from where I am, called Mic Drop, and they have uh different levels. So they've got like a beginner level, an intermediate level, and then the advanced. So you literally go and speak at these events, but you start in the different stages, but you can watch all
Mm.
the different ones as well. So that's really cool. So that's a bit more long form. Um, so yeah, my what my journey looks like from here is just actually filling out the application forms, um, going to more networking events. Um, if I'm being honest, I love how you were saying, everything just sort of came to you. Like, so I'm 3 hours away from, like, my partner and I live interstate, so 3 hours away from one another. Normally through the week, I have got my children home, but it just so happened that this event had lined up with my son's school excursion. So I could actually just nip off for a night, which is never a thing, on a Wednesday night, and I could go to this event. So it's like, okay, if the universe has conspired to arrange my children to be looked after, for me to be able to have the time off to go to be at this event, to come home. Obviously, I know I need to be there and be doing the thing. Um, but yeah, so I will definitely be going to more fuck up nights. I will be putting in my application forms. I have a wonderful coach that I'm very excited to be signing up with in the coming future. And part of his method, he does like a holographic method, and then he also does speaking events. So I know that this combination is going to be really powerful because it's the subconscious programming in alignment with. So it's kind of like, for me, will be an all-in-one mentor. So I'm very excited for that journey. And um his wife is also like so super powerful and potent in the area, and they do this stuff together. It's going to be magical. Actually, I hadn't shared that with anyone before, so that's really sweet. Um well, that's where I'm going. And yeah, so it's really just going to be leaning into the uncomfortable states. I do actually have, for anyone who doesn't know or has only just joined us, I'm also studying breath work at the moment. So I'm about 6 months into a 12-month facilitation course, and next week I'm off for the whole week. I'm actually doing our breathwork retreat
Mm.
facilitation. So um I know there will be a lot of processing done in that week, even though we're learning while we're practicing breath. It's um that deep inner healing, and I know a lot of things are going to shift by the end of the week. So it's not surprising to me that this is all falling in perfect timing, and that I have no doubt after the event, it'll just be like all these things come dropping into my world and aligning perfectly. So yeah, watch this space. Um, Likewise, if anyone is listening and is wanting more insight, is wanting to work through any of their, their fears, their programs, their patterns, behaviors, like reach out. We do individual sessions. We've got our mentorship programs. We have a range of things that you can attend or be a part of that will help you in one way, shape, or form. So, yeah, it's all exciting.
Absolutely. So we just wanted to do like a quick, beautiful update and sharing episode about where we're at and the new levels that we're stepping into our leadership and our business. And like Nicole was saying, you can always reach out to us. All of our information is in the show notes. Please follow our Instagram, our TikTok. Follow us, spread the love. We're also open to like topics, suggestions, and we will be putting out an application form for guests at some point in the near future. So stay tuned for that as well. And we can't wait to see you back on episode 9 of the Women Who Rise podcast.